those of you who maybe don't know anything about smartphone, or for just, given that there's a lot of partners, potentially partners on the call, or potential partners, people who are thinking about becoming a partner, I thought I'd do this in two sort of sections. The first section really to talk a little bit about the history of how it developed, the history, and some key numbers, because as I kind of have indicated on this call, and we've talked about, the truth of the matter is that I'm sorry, Zoom is trying to get me to do something. The partnership is in both the Podio DNA, but also smartphone, because smartphone was founded when I was invited onto a Citrix API GoToMeeting, and Helene, for those who remember, Helene introduced me to Vlad and Alex from SwiftPod and SwiftNet. They are fellow Podio partners, and it was sort of a, hey, I think you guys would have a lot of in common, a lot to talk about. And smartphone was the result. There was a Zoom sort of handshake between Game Changers, my Podio consultancy, and Swift, theirs, Swift Podio and SwiftNet. And we agreed to start this. And if you think, going to what Seth was saying, how amazing it is that you would just sort of pick up and say, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this sort of collaboration, having never met each other. And the first time we met each other was when I traveled to Romania to sign the papers on our first company. And it's an interesting insight, I think, into how the company developed. The other thing I wanted to kind of touch on is, when you think about the journey we've been on to date in the product. So, we are in a continuous and never-ending development cycle. And we keep adding.
For better or worse, right?
We keep adding, preparing for this made me think back and start to look at how this all came together and the steps. And so I sort of sketched out this rough timeline to show the progression of the product as it is. From our initial meeting, which was March 2017, we launched a closed beta in August of 2017, of which Joel, I'm pretty sure Joel was in the closed beta, and there was a handful of people. And I can't, hold on, I'm just going to stop this for a second and get to my Zoom, because it's not letting me see the bloody comments, and in case people have questions. I hate Zoom with a passion.
If you can't get to it, I can also call out.
Yeah, that's fine. It's there now. So,
okay.
So I, yes, Joel was saying yes, he was. So, we launched smartphone. The public launch was in Copenhagen at a Podio partner meetup. We launched it, and then we sort of, all of the other bubbles on your screen, so to speak, the progression of the product has come directly from user feedback. And again, when we talk about the community in Podio, the partner community, but also, the smartphone ecosystem has 3,000 some odd people in a workspace. And they, I saw, Joel will answer, or, some of our partners will answer people's questions and help them out, like the Globiflow forum or workspace. And we, of course, we gather information. Oh, we wish you could do this. Oh, it would be nice if we could do this. And that goes into our roadmap, of which we still have a very significant roadmap that we're working on. So if you if you take a think about how the product is developed and these different things that have come into being, I mean, the smart dialer, which is a sales dialer, the iOS and Android apps, all these sorts of things, and then the eagle-eyed amongst you will see the Citrix Workspace integration that's coming up, and we are very, very happy to be working with Gil and his team at BrickBridge on that. And I'm incredibly excited to be, to roll smartphone out into the workspace ecosystem, and it will continue to just add to the growth of the company.
I got to tease that out a little bit. So now this is since it's relative news to everybody, this is going to be a smartphone integration into workspace. So there's not the Podio element is not present. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So it'll be a native integration for smartphone directly into Citrix Workspace. I know we did a partnership together on the last Converge hackathon, and we still had to use the Podio backend, so we were still using smartphone and Podio. But we had some extra. We had you guys give us a little extra magic, and we were able to do just a couple API calls for that hackathon demo. We've gone on to expand upon that, and we're excited to be able to hopefully show off our handiwork here at the next Converge, and allow smartphone customers to also get a peek, both existing and potential customers to get a peek at what Workspace can bring them along with their favorite phone system.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, from our point of view, the Workspace also takes us to a more enterprise level, right? I mean, and a tremendous amount of development this year has gone into the back end of smartphone to solidify, and be able to scale up in the way we need to be able to handle that kind of volume. And speaking, so when we talk about volume, just again, when I think about where we started with the closed beta in August 2017, the company has evolved a lot, and I thought I'd put together some numbers of what we're dealing with now compared to when we started. We are estimating just shy of 1 million minutes in October that we will have processed. To date in October, we have started 340 9 new trials as of today. That's the number from this morning. So we still got a couple of days to make that a little bigger. We have customers in 41 countries, making calls, having phone numbers, sending text messages. We predict the growth, the growth of our volume in SMS has shot up. We think we'll probably do around 700,000 text messages in October. And this growth has meant that actually Twilio has been more involved with us. They've taken notice of the fact that there's a platform that seems to be growing at a relatively large pace. We're in essence doing a 35% growth quarterly, and have been pretty consistently, for the last year and a half or so. And of course, from when we started, where it was just, all of us kind of volunteering some time, we now have 13 full-time people in smartphone. And the one that makes me laugh is the 6.1 million minutes of recording storage that we're doing right now, we're holding right now, which makes me laugh mainly because Twilio, the way they actually charge for recording storage makes me laugh every time I get the bill. which we do on a regular basis. So you can see, I mean, you know, the product really has, you know, smartphone has really the last year has accelerated beyond anything we thought we would. And now looking towards the next 12 to 18 months and bringing in workspace, you know, it's going to mean that we're going to push the gas pedal down on two systems, Podio and workspace. And so I hope that the volumes you see here, you know, I'd like to be doubling them in, you know, 4 or 5 months. And I think based on our current trajectory, that's eminently possible. The other thing, of course, with smartphone is that we continue to focus on partners. We are not investing into massive sales channels where people are, you know, you always see this with phone systems, massive salespeople who, you know, call this and going after all these accounts. Well, we've invested in our partner network, and we're continuing to invest more into it. We're building resources for the partner network. We are, with the advent of workspace, I think that's going to be an even bigger deal and opportunity for us, because I think the Citrix partner network becomes even more open to us when we're working with that. But you know, over the past 30 days, partner-led accounts, 136 of them. Those are accounts that have been brought to us by partners, affiliates, who some of whom are Podio partners. You know, some of whom are on this call. Some of them are people who are in their industry, particularly the real estate industry, and have access or influence. And you know, we've got an affiliate scheme. It's on our website, and you know, there's a good, strong, recurring revenue and commission based on that. And to date, you know, we've paid out over $42,000 in commissions. So, and again, that is growing every single month. We see our commission element grow with the same pace as our other growth. And the affiliates, the accounts that they bring in, and the accounts that the people bring in, are critical to our growth. So as a story of two Podio partner companies coming together and building a third and building a product, I think it's an interesting one, and it's potentially a really interesting one for any partners who are thinking that maybe they've got an idea that they should do. My answer would be do it. You know, go ahead.
There's a wonderful tie into our previous conversation, Jordan, which is just, there's a lot of magic amongst the community. It's reach out. You never know where it's going to take you.
100%. I mean, if you told me 4 years ago that I would have an office in Romania, I would not have thought. But you know, there we are. So yeah, it's super exciting, and I hope it's you know, I hope it spurs on potentially some people who have product ideas that they can, you know, they can action it. So what I've just thought I'd do, because not everybody, to my dismay, uses smartphone. So I just thought I'd give a quick understanding, you know, a quick view of it for people, and particularly why people are switching over to smartphone. Because, you know, kind of like, you know, I would say that switching your phone system is not something people do quickly or lightly. But when they do it for, you know, a couple reasons. One is the phone system they're using right now sucks. You know, or two, there's something about this system that they really, really want. And for us, of course, smartphone was built for Podio. It is not a you know, it is not a Chrome extension that you know, that you add on and then you have to do lots of configuration. It is not a generic phone system which you can just start up and use with any system in a sort of light touch integration way. It is a fully built for Podio system, and Podio is built throughout the ecosystem. Um, it is what we are. I mean, you know, and I'm excited. That's why I'm excited for Workspace, right? I mean, we are a Citrix Podio based or focused product, and now we're going to be a Citrix Podio and Citrix Workspace focused product. So this is a smartphone. It's a web application, but we also have a iOS, dedicated iOS and dedicated Android apps. And of course, for those who are used to or really desiring to use IP phones, we have SIP infrastructure as well, so you can connect smartphone to your IP phone network as well. Although I fucking hate IP phones, so I don't do it. And it is a fully featured phone system. It's a cloud phone system at its heart. That means you can you can buy as many numbers as you want at the click of a button, right? I can simply buy a number and have it go. If I want one, I buy it. I assign it to a flow, and I have a new number. That's as quick as it is. And so, you know, there it is. I can build it. And some of our clients, particularly those who use phones in sales, they do a lot of marketing campaigns, and they got a lot of tracking numbers. We get a lot of people coming over to us from CallRail. They'll be coming and bringing in 90, 100 numbers at once. Because they're using different tracking numbers for different marketing materials. Of course, all those can be tracked in here. All of them can be assigned different flows or the same flows. Doesn't really matter. You have full control over how your phone system works with smartphone, and it is fully featured. I mean, when you think about a call flow, for those who don't know, is how you determine what happens when the phone is called. When an inbound phone call happens, you can build out of the box. You can drag and drop round robin capabilities, IVR capabilities for, you know, press 1 to speak to sales, press 2 to speak to finance, whatever. You've full control to add business hour logic to potentially each leg of your flow, so that depending on which department will depend on what they do and what hours they work. You have full control. And that's something that is drag and drop. And of course, the Podio integration is such that, you know, when you set it up, you pick your contacts app. This is where we drag our contacts from, and you install our very own communications app. It is built directly to Podio. So before I talk just, you know, about some of the more advanced features, for those who maybe haven't used it or haven't looked at it, the real advantage of it is to be able to bring it into your Podio ecosystem. So here I am. This is a workspace that actually my company, Game Changers, you guys will know Andrew Cranston. He's on this call, I think, potentially still. Or maybe he hung up because he saw I was speaking.
Yeah, no,
But
he's here. He's here.
but you know, and you'll see Andrew on the GlobiFlow and ProcFu forums. He's hugely engaged in that and helps a lot of people out. Well, Andrew is the sort of mastermind behind all of our systems in Game Changers. And so this is a very simple Podio system that we built for a real estate community and real estate structure. But of course, when you're talking about a company like real estate or any sort of sales-based, to be able to integrate fully your communication streams so that you can see the histories is incredibly important. And with smartphone, it is as simple as, you know, clicking on a phone number and making a call. So I click on the phone number, and I'm going to get a sexy Game Changers recording, which you can't hear, but I can. but you can see here that I can see exactly who I'm calling, all the information. I can go straight there in Podio to both the contact or the communication. And I am getting a call right now. That's my smartphone app. And I have full access, and I am now on a call. Now, because we're fully integrated to Podio, I can, of course, go straight hit there. I can view the person or the communication. And if I then take notes, I can finish and choose from my dispositions. Let's just say it's answered. And of course, back in Podio, there's the call. Immediately logged in your CRM right away. And of course, one of the other elements of the Podio integration is this notion of the communications app itself. And there's huge power here because, of course, it's not that we're just pushing the call as a note, but we are actually building an app. We actually install an app for you in Podio where every single interaction, be it an inbound, outbound, text, call, or anything else, they get logged in this communication app. So I can see this nice view here. I can see today's activities, outgoing calls, outgoing text, incoming text, etc. I can see who it is because it's automatically linked. And if I open up the call that we just had, you can see that immediately we are logging the call. Smartphone logs it to the person, inputs all the key information they want. We know it was an outbound call. This was the disposition I chose. There's the duration of the call. This is my Podio user who made the call. And if you choose to record your calls, there's the recording. If I want to click on that, it's going to pop open. And there's the recording of our call that I can listen to in my headset that you can't. And that is enormously powerful. But of course, the integration with Podio goes even further than that because you can then use and I don't know if you remember my slide that showed the little bubbles, but one of them was an SMS API. So you can then, of course, go through, so this is a completely separate app. This is not the contacts app, which is where our contacts are stored, and that's what smartphone connects to. It's not our communications app, which is where we log everything. And of course you can, and I've just shown you that. This is a third app, which is a properties app. But of course on our properties app, we log through, we've got a lot of information here. We know who it is. And there's a link to that Lex Luthor seller. So we know who the seller is. And if I go down to our communication structure, we can see that the last communication was outbound, which it was. Again, this is Podio automation, but more importantly, we are logging and pushing using the power of Podio and the Podio Workspace Workflow Automation Tool, PWA. We're using that tool to be able to make not just the log, which is what smartphone does, but to make it hugely useful as part of your CRM. So here I made a call. The call not only gets pushed down, but of course, it also, we use the PWA system to make some certain bits of automation. That includes the SMS API. So I can, for instance, oh God, I gotta remember how to do a hashtag. Oh Christ. Okay. I don't know why we decided to use hashtags on this system. For some reason, we did. But if I want to, because we've got an SMS API, and because that SMS API can be used with the Podio Workspace Workflow Automation Tool, I'm going to call it GlobiFlow occasionally, so I apologize. But because it can be fully worked with that, you can create very easy shortcuts to interact with your phone system, not just by calling someone, but also sending a text. So if I want to say, hey, are you free to call? I just have to run a workflow in the PWA system that says when a comment says hashtag SMS : run a certain automation, which is going to go ahead and send a text. He said, hopefully, once everything catches up and goes on, give it a second. And that will come in eventually once, I'm not sure if there's a slowdown or whatever. But that means that you can do full kind of automations. There we go. Oof, that was slow. And you can see that we've got a little message saying we've sent the text, and then fairly soon, once the calculation field resolves, you will see that there's an outgoing SMS, and it's all locked together. And that means that because smartphone is so fully integrated into the Podio environment, these kind of automations really help your workflow, and you can design your systems to do it. Now, in terms of inbound, if I just want to just to show you, well, there you go. Say, hey, are you free for a call? There it goes, right? It's just updated. Now I'm going to text back from the person. Lex is texting us back now, and you'll see a couple things happen when that happens. Of course, in the smartphone is going to log that text message in the communications app. So we're going to see the communications app and just refresh my screen. And we'll see that there's a new incoming text received. And once Podio catches up, everything will be filled in. And of course, that's also going to come, and it's going to reach out, and it's going to push it down to the calculation field. So that's fantastic. And of course, it's going to trigger the automations that we've got using the power of Podio and the PWA system to reset this lead in essence. I'll just do a little hard refresh to try and jig it along. Come on. Oh, that's super slow. Let me go directly from it here. Let's just go and watch there. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Matthew, you're right. But most importantly, now it's reset this lead to inbound. The last communication was inbound using the PDOA system. It's updated date and time, and there it is. So again, the point of this is to show that one of the most important parts about this is because it's so fully integrated into Podio, and you're able to do all these things. It goes from being just a cloud phone system that's easy to use anywhere you are, right? I can be sitting on in a holiday, in Romania, as I was earlier this year, and I can be making calls pretending I'm in North Carolina, and everything's immediately logged in Podio. But it also because it's so integrated, your phone and communication system becomes an enormous part of your potential workflow. And that's something smartphone provides in the Podio ecosystem that nobody else can. Popping back in, before I get to some questions, popping back into smartphone, there are a couple really cool bits that are added on into smartphone that is quite nice to take a look at. Obviously, I mentioned the iOS and Android apps. They are fully featured apps, so you can take your Podio contacts app with you. Make calls, receive calls, voicemails, text messages, send, receive, everything fully capable, but from an app, so that for those people who are on the road always on the move, they don't have to pull over. They don't have to log things after the case. Sales guys who are on the road, use your Podio smartphone app, and you can be killing it. Another thing is, of course, for those of you, one of the things that I mentioned in the presentation was how important partner feedback and user feedback was. all of our customer base has informed how we've developed smartphone. And that includes the launch of Smart Dialer, which we did about a year and a half ago, I think. And Smart Dialer, for those who've never used it, is a fully featured sales dialer, which means that you can grab a list of leads from anywhere in your Podio system. Do I have any recordings? I don't have any recordings, so I can't even show you that. I should have prepared the Smart Dialer demo. But in essence, you can pick any app in your system, in your Podio system, grab the leads based on either a category field or a Podio view. So for instance, say you've got a leads app and you want to create a view that says, show me all of the leads where the follow-up is today, or the follow-up is this week for this person, and you create a view. Well, you can use with Smart Dialer, you can load up that view into a campaign and have your agents basically start the campaign, click start, and the system will start calling the numbers, automatically calling up to 4 numbers at once and processing everything in. It's fantastic, and it is something that really brings an enormous amount of value. Another really great feature that I know people like a lot of is if I just call Lex again. Let's call Lex. So here I am calling Lex, but say I also want to add in someone else on my team, either as a warm transfer, so I'm going to hand over the call, or I just need to add more people to the call. I can search by either my smartphone users or my contacts app. So I can, there's me, just let me answer this call so it doesn't end. Yeah, now we're on the call. I'm going to go ahead and add Lenny in. Oh, she's not online. You can keep adding people. Who else is online? Jordan, actually. Isn't Jordan? Let's see if we can get Jordan. And you can see that you can continue adding people, and I can place some people on hold and keep the other ones going. I can hang up on one and keep the other call going. You have full flexibility to add in your own people or people from your database into one call, hand off the call. I can then leave the call and they can stay connected, and everything is logged in Podio. So if I just go ahead and take a note saying Podio partner demo call, and I will say answered. And of course, back in our communications app, we've got Podio partner demo call, and the multiple recordings represent the fact that there are multiple legs, multiple people got added. So everything's tracked in there. We've got the 1 minute, 22 seconds, the dial time, everything's fully integrated to itself. So there are a huge amount of features here, from reporting to automatically assigning which number to call from based on who you're calling, so the system can route it, intelligently. Enormous amount of what I would call advanced features for people who really use the phone for sales. And of course, most importantly, everything is 100% logged and synced with your Podio system. So I think, it really is, if you do sales or you use the phone for your business and you're using Podio, smartphone, I think, is really the option out there. We aim to be the best phone system for Podio ever, and I am not looking to ever relinquish that title. I'm keeping it.
It's yours.
Yeah, I'm keeping it, damn it. And so, for those of you on the call who've never maybe used smartphone, before I open up to any questions, I can, you can request if you don't write this down, or I don't know if you're going to send slides, Gil.
Yeah, we'll have some things that'll go out. Yeah. We'll probably, Again, this has been crazy for us to be able to put together pretty quickly. So we'll package those up either at the end of each day or right after the conference.
Yeah, great. I mean, so everybody's invited. You know, if you are interested in the affiliate program, there's the link to the affiliate program where you can, you know, submit, you know, a request for that to see if you want to join up, and I'll have a chat with you. It's not just for Podio partners as well. A lot of our affiliates are people who just have a lot of clients in a certain industry, and they know they use the phone. So as you know, you saw we've paid out, you know, $42,000 of commissions so far, and it's growing every month. So it's not only a chance to give an enormously effective tool to your customers, but it's a chance to make a very good amount of money on commission every month. I have provided some discount codes there. Anybody who wants to, if you're not using smartphone and you want to give it a try, you got a code for the smartphone, either smartphone pro or smartphone standard, which are our two plans for the cloud system. And I've also given you a code for the smart dialer, the sales dialer, so that you can try it out at a bit of a discount. And, you know, I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has, if anybody does.